people? This is episode 11 of Is This a Pickleball podcast? I'm your host, Matthew K. Pickleball. I am joined today by my better podcast half, the better looking Mr. Wilson. How are you today?
You're too kind, Matt. I'm doing good. Today's my last work day of the week, so I'm happy. I'm looking forward to the weekend, and weather's looking good here. No rain, so I'm excited to get some pickleball in. How about you?
Holy smoke. Oh, Wilson. Firstly, I'm sorry for the delay getting this pod. I had the wrong time. This week, the last 7 days have been crazy. You know what? I lean on what we talked about in another pod, which is, if there's tough times on the court in life, just know things always change. So folks, if you're going through a hard time, just know things are going to change. Things might get worse, but things might get better. If they get worse, they can get better after they get worse. Just know whatever you're going through, it's going to change. All right, hold on to that. Hold on to that, folks. I'm holding on to that. And
Yes.
then, yeah, pickleball. I've been away for a beat, and I'm going to be away a little longer. And California, our age group, it's wedding season, so I'm gonna be away from the courts for another weekend. I'm just I'm just gonna make a list of all the excuses at the nerdy tourney why I am really not pulling my weight on that team. Like, I didn't get to play, guys. I didn't get to play.
Sometimes
But
a break is what we need, okay? So it might be a good thing. Who
it might
knows?
be. It might be. But fortunately, we did squeeze in some playtime
Hmm.
yesterday. Mr. Popularity over there, Mr. Wilson, put together a huge crew. If my life depended on it, I couldn't get that many people to show up to an event. We had two nets going. We had the old A11N super sturdy, crazy to build net, and then we had Wilson's SwiftNet going, and it was a
Hmm.
good time. I appreciate you letting me join your crew.
Yeah, of
And
course.
you know what? You know what, Wilson? That's a
What's up?
good segue to our first section. Our first section, what are we testing right now? Presented by SwiftNet. That is, I think, the top of the line net that you can get. I wish I had one. I might be getting one. I might be, but
I hope you do
SwiftNet.
get one because I'm tired of helping you carry that 50 pound net.
I
I mean, it's a great net. A11N made a great net, but it's
it
heavy.
it's a workout before the workout, and the
Yeah, it's the warm
SwiftNet.
up.
Yeah, the SwiftNet. I love that tape. I think it works really, really well. And once again, I watched you put that. I don't help you put that one
Mm-mm.
up. You're so good at it. I just sit back. I sip on my iced tea. But SwiftNet, thank you for presenting this segment. And you know what? I thought we should talk about not a SwiftNet, but another net, the Dinkaroo. I know you've got one. I've got
Yep.
one. Why don't you tell folks what is the Dinkaroo?
Yeah, so it's a super compact net. It kind of reminds me of one of those camping chairs, those click chairs. You can just fold up a little net. It's a good warm-up net. So essentially, I believe it might be about 3 feet wide. It's very narrow. It's good for dinking, warming up when the courts are full. There are a couple of courts where I play where there are like a sidewalk or a cement area where I could just be chit-chatting and dinking at the same time, or doing some hand battles. It's something to do while you have to sometimes wait like 45 minutes or up to where I've waited up to like an hour for a game. So it's something to do, stay warm so you're not on the court cold when it's your turn. You want to make your game worth it, when you have to wait so long.
1 hour, Wilson. You
I've
are
waited
a
an hour for a game before.
you are a madman. I would be in my car. I would be gone.
I
I
need to
would.
send you a photo of like the paddle queue where the there's not enough like places to put your paddle, so then people start putting it into the chain link fence
Oh
as
yeah, I've
placeholders.
All
I'm sure
right.
you've seen that before, but I gotta
I've done.
send you a photo of the one
You're
I saw.
right. I'm lying a little bit. I've
Hmm.
done the weights. I've done the weights.
Hmm.
But it's tough. That's why I like setting up the old SwiftNet and getting some games put together. But if you're doing open play, the Dinkaroo, as Wilson was saying, is basically a mini net made for dinking. And so you got the line up in the air. It's it's three dimensional. It exists, and so you know what to dink over. And Wilson, I need your help because I actually want to do in my paddle reviews, folks. If you're not watching the paddle reviews, you gotta go watch those. Matthew K. Pickleball, we got the reviews, giveaways all the time. Check the reviews out.
Yeah, and if you
But
actually want to see us play too,
if you want to see us play, yeah, someone shouted out in our Packle video, where's the play footage? Guys,
yeah,
guys, we're probably like the slowest turnaround of the podcasters, but we try to record these and get them out fresh. Like there's no time to add in play footage. But if you want to see us play, if you're worried that we're fake pickleballers, check the reviews out. There are giveaways going on all the time. But I also in the paddle reviews I like to do like featured accessory segments, and I like to how I like to talk about the stuff outside of paddles. Like I
hmm,
think I'm one of the only reviewers that's pretty obsessed with that
I like
stuff.
that part. Yeah.
Oh, that's the part. Yeah, well, you're the guy. You're the one that likes it because I get to see what people skip over in the videos. But I want to do one on the Dinkaroo, and we actually recorded some footage, you and me, one time.
Hmm.
But the sun was blazing, and it's not usable. It's no good, and so I need your help. We gotta record some Dinkaroo
Yeah,
footage.
definitely.
And so, but yeah, check out the Dinkaroo. Promo code Matthew K works over there, and it's just a great thing to have hanging off your bag to deal with the open play wait times. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention about the Dinkaroo is it's also great if you do practicing on walls, like wherever you live, because you don't have to like measure the line, you don't have to guess how high the net is. You can put that up and you get the real effect. And so that's another aspect that I really like. But enough Dinkaroo.
Wait,
Go.
but you know what
Oh,
we
what?
should do though in
What?
that video? We should have us playing at the most random places ever, like Dodger Stadium
Oh my gosh.
or Chinatown, on the
Wilson,
sidewalk.
Wilson,
That would be pretty
stop,
cool.
stop. I do not want them to hear that. Like, because that's a great idea. Wilson, we barely find the time to play together.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
we're
Okay.
not doing that. But it's a great idea, and I'm sure there's a reviewer that will do that. Very fun idea. Uh, I wish we had the time. We don't even have the time to get the just footage of us using it, but we'll get that, and then maybe we can build off of that. But as far as accessories go, one thing I always like to cover are pickleball court shoes, and I've got a new pair.
That's a nice colorway.
I love the way these look. These are Diadem's Court Flow shoes. So this is the release. I've reviewed their Court Burst shoes. And before, I'll try to leave a link. I loved the Court Burst shoes. Those are probably, that and my Winner's Edge pickleball shoes are probably my favorite pickleball shoes of all time. But they came out with sort of like a lower price shoe that is probably I've only done one play session with them, so I have a lot more testing to do. But first off, I love the look. I actually opted to review these later because I am so tired of white pickleball shoes out here in Los Angeles, and we're gonna actually talk about this later. But our courts are so filthy all the time, unless you're a member of one of the private ones where they've got like a staff, I guess, taking toothbrushes to it. But our courts are filthy, and white shoes they turn black fast. And
They
so
do.
they had some review units of their lighter colorway way back, and I was like, I'm down if you could just send me a darker pair. I would love to check those out. And Diadem really helped me out, and they sent these over. I am testing them. They are they don't have that high back. I know some people are sensitive to that digging into their Achilles, so that's one thing about them. They are a little more size friendly. So if you have like an oversized foot, these are the ones to maybe look at. And the price is just crazy. After promo code Matthew K, they're like around $100. But I just love the look. More than anything, I love the look. So I'm gonna keep testing these out. See how they stack up to the Court Burst. See how they stack up to Winner's Edge shoes. But you know, I'm impressed so far, and I think having a good looking pickleball shoe is like worth a premium. And so yeah, but really, really lovely shoe. And so I'm gonna keep working on that. And then
I'm the opposite of you. I only
uh-oh.
wear white tennis shoes. I
Oh,
love
is that
the I love the traditional classic look of white shoes and white socks, you know?
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, to each his own. To each his own. Yeah. The white, I try to avoid. I try to
They do
avoid.
get dirty though, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I have a nicer uh pair that I use, and then I have a tournament pair, but then I also have a kick around pair where I don't mind walking on the grass or at the local park. So I have a couple of pairs that I rotate through, so I think
Are
that's
those
why
the?
I'm okay.
Is
Hmm?
that the pair you wore yesterday?
Yeah, so my
I knew it.
go-to,
I did
yeah.
not. I had never seen you wear those shoes before.
No, I've always had them, the A6 Solution Speed 3s.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I got
I've always had
issues.
them. Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right.
I think the ones that you usually see me in are so dirty and yellowed that they might not even look like the same pair of shoes. I think that's
I
probably why.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
have issues with Asics. We won't go into it right now,
Mm.
but yeah. I mean, yeah. Court shoes, love them. And then as far as what else we're testing, I I know I've been telling you about it for a while, Wilson, but I like this wide body top 5 wide bodies paddle video I've been working on. I am so close, but I keep like basically every kind of generation of paddle tech. Well, there are multiple generations of paddle tech represented in this video, and this is budget conscientious. So I'm trying to do paddles that are after discount code under 150, and so I'm trying to get Volaire's Gen 1 paddles to test and see if they'll be a fit. I think they will, because I think based off of the specs and then based off of playing with their fiberglass sort of starter paddle, I think the carbon fiber Volaire Gen 1 are gonna be my top control for that shape. TBD, seeing if I can get those. But I had completely forgotten that ages ago I had gotten these paddles, and you know, the channel was changing a lot, trying to add podcasts, trying to figure out like how to like play the YouTube game, because it is tough out there. It's tough. Like right now, our last podcast, I messed up our upload schedule, and we got 2 views. So folks, if you haven't watched last week's podcast, I'll try to put a link right here. Please help us out. That podcast is good. Check it out. Please help us out. YouTube was hating on me that week. As I was telling you, my week was crazy, so I got behind on uploads, messed the schedule up, and now I'm in YouTube jail. Throw us a view. But all that's to say is, I sometimes realize I have some paddles that I have not covered. And that includes these paddles from Pickle. Pikkl. I've actually talked to the owner of Pickle, and he seems like a really nice guy. And he, like, they're doing some cool stuff. Like, when I talked to him, they were doing some of the, like, what Reload was doing with the removable sheets. They were doing their own sort of take on it. But they have they've got some big pro players that play with these paddles. And so this is, I believe it's a Gen 2 paddle, but it's in the shape I wanted. It falls in the price range after discount code MatthewK. And so I'm adding these into the lineup. Hopefully, I'll be able to, like, I just keep pushing. I have so much play footage of all these wide bodies, and I just need to get that video done. But I just keep, like, I thought I had it figured out, and then basically I'm going to have some honorable mentions. And I'm hoping these play the way I think they will, because I think it's going to help out, and I'll be able to wrap that video up if I can get a couple other things. But hopefully people watch it. It would be really sad if I worked on all of that one kind of new format and no one watched, because I did a top 10 paddles. I had never really done that before, and it was top 10 for 2024, but it took me so long to do it. It came a couple months after, and no one watched that thing, and that took a ton of work. So if you haven't watched my top 24 paddle, hit play. Like, that video has some paddles that other folks weren't talking about, and they're super relevant. In particular, if you're an all-court leaning player looking for paddles on a budget, that's really where that video focuses. But anyway, what else am I testing? All right. Once again, just so behind, but I am trying to get Pickleball Apes Pulse line covered on the channel in a proper video. This was like, this has 4 shapes, I believe. And Pickleball Apes is sort of known, they were one of the first companies to do Kevlar face. And one thing about Pickleball Apes, it's not this paddle, but they're one of the only paddle companies doing a blade style paddle, so that super elongated style, but with modern tech. And I think that shape gets super overlooked. I think it's a great choice for folks that need help with reach, maybe folks that can't bend as much, maybe folks that aren't as fast, or folks that love tennis, or are used to playing tennis, to have that super elongated shape. But anyway, people love this line, and I want to get this covered on the channel. And yeah, one of the first Gen 3, and I just love the way, I love that little guy. I love their branding. Simple, clean, but fun. And that's how I like my pickleball. Simple, clean, and fun. And then what else is in the testing rotation? Well, you were there yesterday. You saw it. You had some friends. It was Ripple Day.
I think everybody came out just to try those.
I think but someone brought the old school ones too, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And so I focused yesterday. I was playing the hybrid, and then one of your friends that's really interested in ripples played all 3, and he had some interesting thoughts.
What did he like? Did he say?
Well, he actually thought the hybrid was the least powerful of them. But I think it also might come down to the static weight. And so, obviously, I'm sure everyone listening to this pod knows, the Ronbus Ripple, the old versions of this paddle, super, super powerful. Gen 3 tech, I've meditated on it, and I think the Ripples are Gen 3 for sure. They're not full foam paddles. They have got complexity in them, and we're going to talk about that in a second in our next segment, so stick around. Yeah, your friend wasn't thinking the hybrid version, which is this one, was as powerful as the other 2, but I also think it could come down to the static weight variance. And yeah, there's a lot of mixed reception regarding this line with the reviewers, and so I'm working on covering this. I'm not sure I'll have a full review out with its release. It's scheduled. The last I heard, May 30th is a public release. Promo code MatthewK does work with Ronbus. I do have a review of one of their other paddles. They do interesting stuff. They do experimenting, and they're pushing the envelope. These paddles, this one, I was just playing with the hybrid. It was very pingy, and I was waiting to see if that sensation or that feeling changed at all. But yesterday our session was pretty short, so I got to put some more time on these paddles before I really really say much. I will say they were not crazy to control for me. But yeah, definitely, and there was power to them. Like I was like having to really navigate over shooting long on like figuring out where that is. You can power these up, and so cool paddles. And yeah, May 30th. If you want to get in early, don't forget promo code Matthew K. What were you gonna say, Wilson?
You gotta try to get a review out, dude.
Oh, Wilson, you might. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'll try May 30th. It's not gonna happen,
I
dude.
think
It's not.
is that when you're gonna be at the nerdy tourney?
That stuff
I
sounds
think
right.
so,
I think
right?
so.
Something
Yeah,
around that time. So you might be a
yeah.
little preoccupied.
Well, I get like it takes. Yeah, I've got a review. I'm working on a big Pro
Yeah.
XR thing, and I think that will come out the next week. And like, yeah, I don't know if anyone will watch it, but it's something that I think they're doing some really cool stuff. I want
Yeah.
to highlight them, and I've been working on it for a while. The Ronbus stuff, I'm behind. On the same note, I'm behind on the Gearbox
Ah,
GX2 line. Lots of people are loving these. They've got a new shape. It's either out or about to be out. They've got the Hyper, the Elongated, and the Intriga XL. And basically, like, I have a few reviews of Gearbox paddles on the channel. I have some of the only, like, not those weren't reviewed by the little guys as much as some of the other paddles until now. Now they seem to be really embracing reviewers. But I've got one, like, I really did enjoy the old Gearbox PPE line. I wasn't as excited about the Ultimate, and it's all on the channel. That swing weight was bothersome to me. But these definitely, I think, embracing an edge guard, but keeping us like using an SST core design, what Gearbox is known for, which I believe is Gen 3, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But yeah, these are foam enhanced, but these are not typical Gen 3 paddles, very unique. And the edge guard seems to like really make them a little more wider audience, appeal to a wider audience. So definitely check those out, but they are on the pricier side. 243 after promo code Matthew K. So if you got the money, check them out. Leave a comment if you've hit with these already. Let us know what you think. But yeah, I believe by the time this podcast airs, all three shapes are available. And yeah, a little different. The 3K woven raw carbon is a little bit different. And so, yeah, I'm figuring out how to get this featured on the channel in a bit more detail. But one thing, what I wanted to talk about now, this is the big segment. All right. If you're a subscriber, if you've been watching the channel, you know Matthew K. Pickleball, me. I love Honolulu's paddles. I do, and I think it comes back to like really me finding the J2K early on last year before it became paddle of the year for every reviewer out there. I got my hands on one of those, and I had come like my history is pretty basic. All right, crummy Amazon paddles. Then I got the X-Pac, the old elongated one, the one that you played, and I learned on that quite a bit.
I mean
And
that's how we
then
met. That's how we started talking because we both had
yes,
the
yeah,
X pack
we
at the
bonded.
park.
We bonded over the Amazon special because we were both very cheap. And you used to have that $100 paddle cap. But eventually, I discovered Vatic, and I had gone to the exact same or a very similar shape as my X-Pac. I went with their elongated V7, fell in love with that. But then I was still hunting. I wasn't a reviewer yet. I was trying to find my paddle, and this was before there were dozens and dozens, hundreds of reviewers. So you had to dig to find info. And ultimately, I think I got a refurbished Vatic Pro Flash. Or, like, I can't remember how it worked. I got one discounted. Like, it was, I think, blemished or something. And I mained that thing forever, and that was enough juice for me back then. This was the only power paddles you would see were the Gearbox. This was before the Yola 3S's. This was before the Mod TA. And then eventually I got into the reviewing, and so I was playing with different paddles. And really the really big benefit to reviewing paddles, in my opinion, especially if you are, especially if you start off like as an intermediate player, like, or someone that doesn't have a tennis background, which was me, and I found myself like control an all court game. What I found was trying out different paddles really forced you to learn intention. Like, I want to do this with the ball in this point, which is like, that is like kind of like a higher skill. You're forced to not be random, like just swatting around, because you want to see if this paddle that you're holding now can do what this paddle you just are used to could do. And so that comparison thing forced me to like sort of learn to have shot choice, think before I hit, be like have a reason for what I'm doing, right? And then I ramble all of this to say eventually I got a Honolulu J2K in my hand, and having learned so long, like I was playing with the Vatic Pro Flash before I was reviewing paddles, and so it was just familiar, but also that extra stability because of Honolulu's J2 stretched out bottom shoulders, like gave me like some breathing room, and I just loved that paddle. I loved it, and so yeah, and I've been trying out their paddles ever since, and more than anything, Honolulu's core build was very, very familiar to me, and I learned all of their surfaces. And so that's another thing. That's why I love Honolulu paddles so much, and this is probably the case with any reviewer. They find something they like, and that's what they're familiar with, and that's sort of what they favor. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Like, if, like, I know a lot of reviewers, yeah, there are reviewers that favor certain brands, and it just becomes like, if you love a paddle, you get to know it really well, and we're just like anyone else. Like, that becomes our favorite. And all that's to say, like, I've done a review on the J2K Plus and the J2 Titanium Plus. That was Honolulu's take on Gen 3, and I really, really love that paddle. And I love those paddles. And then I really did gain a huge appreciation for the Yola Pro 4 paddles as well. And I say this because to me, the Yola Pro 4s, when I played with those, there's not a lot of thinking between your hard-hitting baseline game and your soft dinking game. There's no brain transition. It's pretty effortless. And I like to describe it, and what I've been trying to figure this out, how to like articulate this. I feel like playing with the Yola Pro 4s is like driving automatic, and playing with Honolulu's J2K Plus is sort of like, for a moment, I thought it was like manual shift, because you had to sort of play one way for your hard hitting game and one for the soft. But I think maybe I've gotten better, Wilson. Maybe I've improved. I don't see that gear shift happening as much, and so maybe I broke the paddles in. But I only realize this because this baby, I cleaned her off. I cleaned her off. But this is the J2H Plus, and so this paddle is on pre-order, and so this is Honolulu's Gen 3, but with their H layup, and so the that is fiberglass, carbon fiber with fiberglass being on the outside, and so different layup than the titanium, different than the Kevlar. And I remember when I did my initial big video, It's probably still my most watched video because no one watches the new videos. Come on, guys, watch the new ones. But my most watched video was breaking down the OG J2s and their surfaces. And I think the H is in there. And that was, at the time, was a little too poppy for me. Hard for me to control. And so I was like, I won't be able to handle the J2H plus. That I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I'll have to add so much weight. Bro, Wilson, we played with
Believe
this
in
yesterday.
yourself, Matt.
I
Believe
do
in
now.
yourself.
I do now. We played yesterday. I whipped this thing out, and actually, I let your friend play with it first, but and I that was hard. He wanted to play with it, and I was trying to test the ripples, and I was like, you're gonna break the seal on that baby, but he seemed like a nice guy, so I was like, you go for it. And then I was the ripples. They weren't exactly my jam. I was playing with the hybrid. I thought that would be my jam. Like, I'm going to spend some more time. Like, that's first impression. But I put this in my hand. Holy smoke. This was just for me. And there was not, like, I didn't feel there's that manual shifting. Now, that didn't get a lot of games in. There's still, we need to get some dinking in. We ended up doing some drills so I could test some things out. But I just love this thing. And really, if you're looking for a plus paddle, a Honolulu plus paddle, this thing has a sound from a Honolulu paddle I've never heard. You saw me. I was
Yeah.
pressing the core.
You are
Seeing if
not
this is.
sure if it was broken.
Yeah, this thing cracks. It has like the engagey sound almost like, but I've been told it's the same build as the other Honolulu Plus paddles. The change is that face, but wow, this thing I loved, and really, I mean, I'm still familiar with how their surfaces feel. Like, just the grab, the spin is just incomparable, and so you can pre-order this now. Promo code Matthew K is the code to use for this one. I know they've got a lot of codes, but yeah, I am just super super impressed. And I posted. I've never done it before. I did a after court or post court. I don't know, like in the car. Like, I was just so excited. I did a
Yeah.
little Instagram video about talking about my first impression. And yeah, I think this might be in contention for paddle of the year for me. Like, already, like based off of that one, we'll see, we'll see. I'm just really excited about it. I haven't like been this jazzed about like a paddle like just going right to the court in a long time. And so yeah, I definitely think this is one worth checking out. And then Wilson, were you taking it easy on me? We actually got to play a little singles.
Yes.
And this was the paddle I was using, which speaks a lot to it being a hybrid, that it was able to help me stand up to you. But were you playing with one hand tied behind your back?
No, no.
Oh, guys,
Yeah, I think
no.
I think you have potential in the singles game.
All right, folks. All right, folks. Wilson was taking it easy on me apparently, but hey, I got to nine, I
You
believe.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was able to really shape the ball with this thing. Super
Hmm.
familiar. But Wilson, the story with Honolulu, it's never simple because they are a machine when it comes to experimentation. And I know I'm late to the party. I know there's been a little always having shipping issues. But I finally I want to make sure. All right, well, first, no, before I move to this, everyone stay tuned. So you've got the plus paddles. So that's Honolulu's take on Gen 3. And by the way, the H Plus will qualify for their refresh program, and lots of folks are utilizing it. I'm not sure paddles are actually breaking down, but people like that deal. Check that out. But you've probably seen it if you're watching this podcast. They've got this other paddle that's floating around. We've seen some prototypes. called the J2FC Plus. All right. And so I've been told that paddle is like a diving board floating core, but it's with foam. Okay?
Interesting.
So it's a multi density foam core, and I think that's going to be the Gen 4 bucket. And beta versions are on pre-order. Promo code Matthew K makes those 175. So if you want to get in on that, check that out. I don't know how many of those they're going to have. I will be getting the betas, and so stay tuned. I believe all the content you've seen are on the pre-production, pre-betas, I guess alphas. So subscribe to Matthew K Pickleball. Check out the Instagram. I'm gonna probably be one of the first to get my hands on those because there's a little snafu with the others, and so I think I'm gonna hopefully be able to get some time on those and share some info. But Wilson, are you
What's up?
listening?
All ears.
I had to look into the camera for this. That's not it. So we have the J2K plus, J2TI plus, J2H plus. That's their Gen 3 paddles. I just talked about the J2FC plus,
Oh,
and I'm not sure what FC stands for. I need to get that clarified. Maybe it's
sounds like
floating
foam core, right?
foam core. Yeah, that
Floating
is
core?
probably foam core. I bet that is what it is. Foam core, but J2FC plus. All right, so those are the ones you sort of seen unmarked people posting about, and the betas are on pre-order.
Yeah.
But that's not all Honolulu's got. All right, they've got a whole new line that they're working on. These are their J2NF paddles. Okay,
What are NFs?
NFs. NF stands for notched foam. Okay, and it's a little complicated. But these paddles are using expanded polypropylene (EPP). It's a closed cell structure, and I'll just read what the internet how they define EPP. It's a type of foam made from polypropylene, a thermoplastic polymer known for its toughness and flexibility. EPP foam is created by expanding polypropylene beads with steam, resulting in a lightweight closed cell structure that provides excellent shock absorption and insulation. So no honeycomb, all right? But it's different than the J2FC Plus paddles, and I thought I would just read. I have a little top secret Honolulu paper here, but the snapshot is you're gonna have the J2NFK, that's the Kevlar one, the J2NFT, that's the titanium PET one, and then you're going to have the J2NFL, that's carbon fiber, fiberglass, carbon fiber. I think they're changing the names up a little bit. I don't know if they liked NFT or they liked NFL. I can't remember. He told me, but I've forgotten. But yeah, but basically what they say is they all feature a 16 millimeter interlaced EPP. That's what we were just talking about. Center core with a partially floating pivoting. I'm assuming they're talking about the core. And then that name notch is coming the EVA notched foam perimeter. And so I tried to get some explanation, but they're keeping some of it under wraps for patent stuff. But they're doing something different. And to me, it seems that it's a little more complex than what we're seeing in what we're calling Gen 4 fully foam paddles. And so that raises a question. So we already have Honolulu's Gen 4 paddles. The betas are in pre-order right now. Reviewers are trying out the NF paddles. These are not made the same way. I think these might be Gen 4.5, maybe Gen 5, because the thing that I have talked about Gen 4 paddles being and the problems that they're solving as a result is there's some grammar wrong in that. Whoever whoever in the comments likes to correct that, help me out. But what I've pointed out about Gen 4 paddles is they are simple. They are foam cores. They're not like Gen 3 paddles with different kinds of edge foam, different cuts in the core. They're simple. And I think that's what makes them so unique and potentially more durable. But this puppy here, this thing ain't simple. It's different. And so I don't know if it's the Gen 4 bucket. I think we're talking Gen 4.5, Gen 5. We'll see. I'm sure the bigger reviewers will throw in their 2 cents, and we'll probably have to wait till then. But what do you think? Gen 4.5, Gen 5 with with the knowledge I've shared?
I think it's probably 4 or 4.5. I don't think it's going to be quite 5 yet. I mean, who knows what 5 will be, right?
Fair
But
enough.
yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm excited to see what if they ever share what the notch part of the paddle
So
means,
the
or
notch,
like,
yeah. So I believe I had, yeah. You know, I believe the notch is referencing something they're doing to the perimeter that I
um,
believe I was allowed to say. Yeah, so it's an EVA notched foam perimeter. And
okay, all right,
so that's where the notch is coming from.
okay.
And I don't believe that, I believe that's something I can share. And so, yeah, once again, 16 millimeter interlaced EPP center core with a partially floating pivoting. So that's different than what we've been talking about with their other
Hmm.
paddles. And then EVA notched foam perimeter. And so, yeah, they basically like, and I don't know how this is happening. Like, paddle reviewers have better health insurance than me. Like, people are x-raying paddles and stuff. So, like, I don't like, so they've asked folks not to do that. They're trying to dot some I's, cross some T's. They're hoping that folks won't cut them open right now, because they're trying to make sure they're protected, is my understanding. But yeah, super interesting, and I'm excited to hit with these. Follow me on Instagram. That's probably where I'll get the first impressions. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get some info about these, how they feel on the YouTube channel, on the podcast. Subscribe to all that. But yeah, I'm excited. But I think, I mean, it's gonna be hard. Like, if my first impression of the J2H Plus like stays, like, I just really gelled with this thing. And so yeah, I don't know if, yeah, I just really like this thing. And yeah, that's Honolulu. They're always stirring things up. They're always busy, and so I'm excited. Are you excited? I know you're not. I know you're not a Honolulu man as much as me.
I
But
like their paddles. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't had that much time to play with them. Um, but yeah, it's exciting. I love their shapes. I love their creativity and options. The most important to me is the options they offer.
I'm super excited for the Honolulu stuff. I
Hmm.
think let's try to get some of those in your hands. I
Yeah.
think I think maybe get you to test out some of the elongated, since
Ooh.
you love the elongated, and those are sort of ignored quite a bit. The J7K,
Yeah.
uh, and even now they have the J2K that has that extended handle. So maybe we can
I
get
love
those in your hands.
I love my elongated paddles and 5.5+ inches of handles. Yeah.
There we go. All right, and now it is time to move on to our big conversation of the
Hmm.
pod, because we've had to start and stop recording so much. I don't even know what minute we're on. We might be on hour 2. I don't know. But I wanted to talk about, we've been talking about some good paddles, but
Hmm.
a good paddle can only get you so far. Let's talk court conditions. All right.
Oh,
So a while
yeah.
back, yeah. A while back, Ben Johns and his brother got into some hot water because they were not happy about some court conditions. And in their case, lighting. They didn't like the lighting where they were playing, right? Do you remember that story?
Yes, I did. They withdrew from their MLP match, and I guess their team just ended up losing, right? Just because I guess the lighting was not up to their standards, you know.
All right, Doug and Aurora. If either of you are watching this pod, if your lights are dim at the Nerdy Tourney, get ready. Matthew will not stand for that. He will not play. But you know what, Wilson? You and I, we're pickleball court scavengers, just trying to find places to set up our SwiftNet and get games in without those
Mhm.
long lines. And so we often play on courts without ideal conditions, including ones with bad lights. When I'm trying to deal with playing at a court that doesn't have the best lights, especially when we're talking about sunset, like maybe the lights are not triggered to go on right away. Maybe a lot of times our courts aren't, the daylight savings time is off. Or one of the courts we play at often just doesn't have the best lights. I like to bring a glow in the dark ball. And so this is a normal pickleball. You can't really see. You have to basically, the glow in the dark balls you want to set out in the sun before you go play, and that will charge them. And this one here is one from A11N, and this is one we play with quite a bit. And I'd say they're comparable. We typically play on Franklin's out here, and I don't notice a lot of change. What do you've hit with this one quite a bit? What do you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty comparable to a Franklin. It's slightly different. I feel like the Franklin's a little softer, I would say maybe. But
Okay,
overall, if that is what we have, it's not a bad ball at all.
yeah, and also Franklin has some glow in the dark balls too, and I
Ooh.
think we should test those out.
Yeah.
But that is if you're at a court without the best lights, especially for that sunset time, try out a glow in the dark ball, and then I don't know. This is probably more for fun, but Neonic has their own solution. Neonic, I've got a big video about them. I love that company. They have some great paddles. Check that out. But they have, you gotta have a screwdriver for this. They have an LED ball,
That's
and so
cool.
that one you'll be able to see. But if you're playing where you need this much light, I bet you won't really be able to see the lines on the court. But we need to try this one out. It's definitely not made the same, but I think it's we should play some dark pickleball. Maybe if I had pulled this out yesterday, you would have hung out with me longer. This guy, he was like, "We don't got lights, I gotta go," but I'll have this one in the bag next time, so there will be no excuses.
Sounds
But I want to
good.
see
Sounds good.
how, yeah, and these are a pretty good deal if I remember right. And so check these out. This is just for fun, and this would also be great for lots of folks are playing like I forget what they call it, cosmic pickleball. I don't know the way like you have cosmic bowl, but they're
Hmm.
going to like pickleball courts. I'm always seen that on Instagram. So this is the ball you should be playing with. And then another thing, if you're dealing with, for me, one thing is this court conditions. I don't know. I want to bring it up right now because we're talking about sunset. But for me, one of the trouble spots of when playing pickleball is when we're getting to sunset or pre-sunset, where it is still some light out. And I'm super sensitive. Ever since I moved to California, I've worn sunglasses since day one. I went to school and like it was part of the uniform for college. Like if you didn't put sunglasses on there, there's something wrong with you. So I've been wearing sunglasses as an adult. Like my eyes are pretty sensitive, and so when we hit that sunset period, it's too early for me to put on my clear glasses, but too it's too dark for me to keep my sunglasses on. And the thing that I use that's really solved that, it's Carbon's pickleball glasses. Actually, I've done a whole video on them, but I keep the transition lenses in those, and so it transitions, so it will give me the right amount of shade for sunset, and then I don't even have to change. Like then I've got my glasses on for night play, and so yeah, definitely check those out. And then coming back to court conditions, have you heard about these rollout courts, Wilson?
Yeah, I've heard them. I think some of the pro tournaments or PPAs they use those like pickle roll or something like that, right?
I don't know what they're called. I don't want to say any brands, but I
Uh,
keep hearing there have been issues. I heard Anna Lee Waters. I don't know. I should probably have fact checked this. I heard she like hurt her ankle because of how part of it was done, and so rollout courts seem to be causing some issues for folks. But I haven't really had that problem. What I have had a problem with out here, though, are dusty courts. I know
yeah.
you have too, Wilson. And first and foremost, to deal with dusty courts, we sort of talked about this, kind of ties into what we were talking about before. You need good court shoes, first off, for any pickleball court, in my opinion. Mainly, you need tennis or pickleball shoes to help with your ankle support, so you get help not folding ankles. But also, you need good traction. And so, I definitely think tennis or pickleball shoes, that's the first when it comes to dealing with bad court conditions. But with dusty courts, like even good court shoes, like can only get you so far. And one thing that I've used actually for indoor pickleball when I play with my dad on gym floors are these things called traction mats. And yeah, it's basically like sticky paper that you step on, and that gets your shoes like clean, or removes any debris that makes them slick. But as far as like our outdoor courts where we're dealing with dust and pollen and all this stuff, why don't you tell folks what you're lugging to the courts?
Well, I actually invested in a leaf blower, right? Those work awesome. I for the longest time I just had a broom or yeah, a broom, a brush from like Harbor Freight or something. But that takes a little longer and it's also not as cool. Um, but so yeah, I usually bring like a broom and a leaf blower to our the courts we play at. Just to give them a quick little blowout to get all the sort
Blowout.
the debris and dust off. And when you use the blower, you really see that dust fly.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so that's been very helpful. That was probably one of my biggest investments in pickleball, other than the SwiftNet. I probably will be like SwiftNet and then leaf blower because those leaf blowers can get pretty expensive. Because you really want a decently powerful one too
Yeah.
to make it worthwhile. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been liking a leaf blower to our
Yeah.
sessions.
And I even saw we were dealing with a little mist on the courts, and you even used that to do a little blow dry for us.
I tried.
So
I tried.
yeah, hey, we had to do something. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think the leaf blower is, if you've got one of those, that really does probably the most of
Hmm.
any sort of like helping make a court more playable. And then a couple other things that came to mind. We really could have used this yesterday. Some old nets. You're always lugging around an old
Y-
badminton net, but
Yeah,
to set up,
I have a bunch of old badminton nets. However, I still haven't quite figured out how to really use them or get them like hang them up, you know.
well, we'll work on
I'll
that.
probably need to get some like hooks or carabiners or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. They were like super cheap off of eBay, and then I was like, I'm just gonna grab a few just so that I could have if I need it.
Yeah,
And I've always had them, and we always needed them. I just did not know how to put them up properly. So
I'm telling you,
we'll
it's the
we'll figure
plant
it out.
wire. But
Plant
yeah,
wire. There you go. The twist
yeah,
ties.
yeah. But yeah, extra nets help with catching the ball, like when someone, like when a ball shoots behind you, because otherwise you'll be chasing balls down. And so extra nets are super super useful. And then one thing we experienced this yesterday, one thing that you should have in the bag if you're going somewhere where you need to set up a net is a tape measurer.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that's not a safety thing, but that is like an accuracy thing because you want to get your kitchen lines correct. And we went to a place yesterday where they didn't have the middle of the kitchen lined out, and so
Hmm.
I had not, yeah. So tape measure, and then court conditions. All right, I got one other tip, Wilson. If you have any, let me know. But my last and final sort of tip regarding court conditions is you need to bring a chair, a
Yep.
pop-up stool, something, because not every court has one. And you know what? You play hard, you deserve to relax a bit between games. And I'm actually have been testing out a swivel chair from a company
Uh-huh.
called TCEK. It's the Amazon one. I'll be sure to leave a link. But yeah, they actually sent that to me to test out. And you
Cool.
know what? I like it. Get a swivel around, feel like I'm at the office, but comfortable. And so it's basically like a pop-up stool, not built too differently than the Dinkaroo net. And so I think having something to sit on is a way to, like, not every court has seating, and so that's
Hmm.
something to think about. All right, anything I missed?
No, I think you've covered it all. Ball, uh, court surface. You know what I really wanted to try though? Um, I think the company that makes the Dominator nets, or I think maybe the brand is called Dominator. They have these lights, these court lights, these portable court lights. I think they're called the Ulta light,
Okay.
and they have like a built-in battery. You charge it up and everything, and it has a stand and all that. And yeah, I think you could if you have a place where you don't have lighting, but uh and I think you could use those and you could play into the night. I think they have like a 6 hour, 8 hour battery like runtime. So I mean, I don't think I could play that long. So I think those would be cool to look at.
What's the company called?
I think they're called Dominator.
All right, Dominator. I'm sure you're subscribed. Help us out. We want to test. We want to test it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I've seen someone try to use a portable light solution, I don't think it was specific to pickleball. It's
Uh,
always like seemed like it throws light just in one spot. But it'd be cool if there is like a pickleball one. I want to test it
yeah,
out.
this
So
one's a
maybe.
court specific one. I mean, it's for tennis, basketball, pickleball.
All right,
Um,
we gotta
yeah.
find a connection. We need to test
Hmm.
this out.
Yeah.
Also, guys, if you're watching, if you're listening, leave a comment. Let us know if you have any other ideas. And everyone else, dig around in the comments. Maybe there are some things that your fellow listeners have suggested that will be helpful. And now, I think it is time. I've lost count of what minute we're on. I think we might be nearing the end of our podcast session, but I wanted to do a few gear alerts, and then
Tip
you're
of the
not getting
week.
out of tip of the week. You're not getting out of it, so get ready.
Sounds good.
But I wanted to go over a few things that I'm checking out. First off, I don't know if you guys saw this. This is from Bread and Butter. It's their hat for their Invader paddle. I think it is awesome. Check that out. But regarding paddles, I've got some alerts. All right. This company, I don't think we've talked about on the pod before, but I have a review of one of their other paddles. I'll try to link it here. But they make great paddles. They're a company called Grooven, and they have just released a new control line called Cruisin', and they have every shape you could possibly want. So many shapes. And I love Grooven. They're always doing some cool edge guards. I actually love their grips. Like right now, you're just seeing the plastic, but they have some super comfortable grips. I love the actual grip that they put. Like if you're someone that doesn't use over grips, like they have some of the best grip that you get on a paddle. But they just dropped this new line of control paddles. It's called Cruisin', and they've been experimenting. They've been doing a lot of stuff. They've done a lot of paddles, and they know what they're doing. And these are only $90 after promo code Matthew K.
Any
And
new
yeah,
tech there?
I'm still digging into all the tech, but they are control focused. You got the T700 raw carbon fiber, polypropylene core. I have to dig into if I think these might be cold pressed. I'm not sure, but really the tech when it comes to control paddles, you don't always want all the crazy tech for control paddles, and so that is the focus of the cruising line. It's for control folks, and so if you're looking for a good one that's made well, $90 after promo code Matthew K. Like if you've played with one of these, definitely leave a comment. Groovin's always doing good stuff. They also have a really good, really cool tour bag that is definitely worth checking out if you're hunting for like a proper like tournament bag. But yeah, groovin'. All right, let's keep grooving ourselves. There's some more alerts. I got a stranger one here. Oh my gosh, avalanche. I got a stranger one here. All right. This is from a company called Warping Point. All right. So this is a little side bag thing, but
It's a sling.
a sling, exactly. But they've got some paddles. I've seen some stuff like this before, but I don't think we've talked about them already. But this one looks pretty interesting. This is an edgeless T700 called Balance Strider Grasp, I think. Some interesting names. But then they've got these. I'm sure everyone's seen these paddles, these kinds of paddles out on Instagram and everywhere. The one that I'm pretty interested in is this one. And then they also have a trainer, and you can't ever have too many trainers. I don't know. I scuffed this one up already, but
How does it feel weight-wise? Is it too light or
this
pretty?
this one feels like it's got weight in the head. I'm not
Nice.
exactly sure
Yeah.
what they did. It's actually a little. I'd say I don't have another one next to me, but I'd say it's probably bigger than the Franklin's head, and so I've got right here. I've got Gherkin's G Spot trainer, and yeah, you can see warping points a little bit bigger, I'd say. It's close, but yeah, this one is a little bigger to me. So that's I think those are some things I think I want to try them out. But the reason I wanted to really talk about them is I was, digging on the internet and I was looking at UPA's approval list, and Warping Point had one on there.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
called the Night Blade Raw Carbon Fiber Pickleball Paddle, and it is a 14 millimeter foam filled polymer honeycomb core. And I've talked about paddles that use a similar approach before. I have a review on the channel of one from a small company called Nexus. And I think those are always interesting. And the fact that it's UPA approved, I want to see what that's about. And so Warping Point, they seem to be doing some interesting stuff. And yeah, I think maybe we should hit around with some of those.
Definitely.
Let folks know. But that's not where the gear alerts end. Listen, I know you want more. You're hungry for gear alerts.
Let's hear
I can
it.
tell. Well, these I'm excited about. I have been trying to hit with some of this company's paddles for forever, and I've never had any luck. And I finally got some. This is from,
Oh yeah.
I believe they're just called Ace. I think that's what they're called. This is their heart paddle, and this is a Gen 3 build. I believe Gen 3. I think they might call it something else, but I believe it's Gen 3 based off of what I can see. And I want to see what this thing is like. But they're actually being talked a little bit right now because they dropped this paddle. This thing is called the Ace 1. It's a Gen 2 paddle. But Wilson, you know what's different about this thing?
What's different?
It's only $40. I
Oh,
don't.
geez.
Yeah, I don't. Here it is. I don't think they do codes. If they do, hopefully mine will be set up. Promo code Matthew K. Try it out. But yeah, if you're looking for a solid Gen 2 paddle, $40. Like, there's no risk there. Like, that's a
That
great
is
deal.
better than our X-Spec deal
Better
back
than
in the day.
X-Pac. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I want to hit those. I've always been curious about that company. And then I only have more one more alert. One more alert. And that is big boy.
Oh.
This is a bag cross-court sling. It's from a company called Forward. They used to be called Kitchen, but it's now called Forward. Forwrd. They are known for making the most premium pickleball bags you can get. This thing holds a ton. This has a little secret stash. I don't know if I want to show them all right now, but you can fit a lot of stuff in here, and they're really nicely made. Check out their line. Promo code Matthew K gets you 10% off, and then promo code Matthew K sale. If promo code Matthew K doesn't work, promo code Matthew K sale will get you free shipping. I think when their gear is on sale. I can't remember exactly what was set up, but I have been wanting to try out their bags for a while. They just make really, really nice stuff. It's really well thought out. It's designed super well. You got even the fence hook on the sling, cross-court sling. But what's crazy is expandable bottle holder. What's crazy, guys, this thing is on sale right now. They're doing clearance. I don't know if it's getting discontinued. I have no idea, but it is $80 right now. That's $120 off. I'm not sure if the codes will stack. Definitely try, but
I really
yeah,
like their they had a bread and butter collaboration
they
with their
did.
other backpack. And
Yes.
that one was actually really nice. I love the lining and the the bread and butter accents. That was really
Yes.
cool.
Yep. If you want, so
Oh,
this
look at
isn't the
that.
bread and butter, but the Court Caddy, they've updated this since this one, but this is about as good of a pickleball bag as you can get. Promo code Matthew K does work on this one, and it's just monster. It is over designed, so if you're like an Apple head, like that loves like all the craziness, like this this has all the details, and there's some different modules and different things. Like this one is set up to have a front paddle sleeve, but they have other compartments. They've got built-in. You can get the glasses case built in. Like, it's just really well done. They make great gear. It's definitely premium gear, so it's not budget. Like that warping point bag is in a different category. But if you want like the best gear to lug your gear to the courts, check out Forward. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get some more coverage of them. They have a new bag as well. And so yeah, check out their site. And now, Wilson, that's all I've got. Gear alerts
That's
are
it.
done. Yeah, that's it. I don't
That's
know
it.
what, guys. If you're listening and we're on hour 2, our recording stopped. I've lost track. I don't know where we are. So let's get to the tip of the week, and then we'll wrap things up. So what do you got for us? The tip of the week, Wilson. Take us to it. This segment is presented by BodhiPickleball. If you're looking for grips, if you're looking for weight, if you're looking for towels, if you're looking for arm sleeves, shirts, hats, BodhiPickleball has you covered for all your on-court needs. Check them out. Promo code Matthew K will get you a discount. And now that you're ready to go to the courts, now that you've got a place to get your gear, here's the tip. Wilson's going to make you a better player. Make it happen, Wilson. What's up?
Yeah, so this week's tip of the week is more about what to do when you're not the person hitting the ball, when your partner is the one hitting the ball, right? So yeah, so let's start off with the serving team. Let's say um, essentially the tip is about poaching and being proactive while you are waiting for your shot. So yeah, serving team. If your partner is the one serving, let's say he's on the even side and he's serving, and the opponent returns the shot, when if that second shot, if the third shot is not going towards you and it's going towards your partner, I would suggest that you should take a few steps forward ahead and kind of anticipate your partner's shot, so that if their third shot drop or third shot drives, if the third shot drop is really nice and you see that your opponents are hitting from below the net, I want you to come up, and because you're a few steps ahead of your partner, you can get to the kitchen a little faster and you would be able to poach the shot if the ball is below the net and your opponent needs to hit up. And if your partner decides to drive and they happen to your opponent pops up the ball, you're able to, since you're a few steps ahead of your partner, you can go ahead and poach it. You can poach that pop up because you're ahead of your partner. So yeah, as the serving team, you want to, and you're not the one hitting, you want to take a few steps forward, kind of take a little risk, see if hopefully your partner has a nice third shot drop or drive, and you can take advantage of that. Now on the receiving side,
Wait, Wilson.
uh,
So if you're on the serve side
yeah,
and your partner ends up hitting the
the
third
third
shot,
shot. Hmm.
you're just telling people to ease off the brakes, maybe put a little on the gas and start moving up so you
Just
have some
you don't have to
opportunity.
run forward. Just take one or two steps forward so that you're
Okay.
kind of mid-court, seeing if it's a good shot or not. Because if it's a bad shot, let's say it's a high drop or a bad drive, you can still back up. You can back
Right.
up a little bit, and then you can take it from the baseline. But let's say you know or you see that it's a good shot and the opponents are going to be hitting up or something, or they have a pop up, you are a few steps forward, you're a few steps
Okay.
ahead, so you just take a few more steps forward and you finish it.
All
um
right. All right.
you know,
And the
you're kind
advantage
of
is
you're sneaking up on your opponents, right? That's
right.
basically what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Be proactive, take a
Be proactive.
few steps forward. And if your partner hits a good shot, good third shot, you take advantage of the fifth shot.
Okay.
Yeah. And now on the other side, the flip side, let's say your
Okay.
partner is receiving the serve. So the ball is coming to your partner, they are returning the serve, and your the serving team is doing the third shot drop, right? Because one, two, three.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Like that happens a lot these days. But yeah, let's
third shot
pretend.
drop, third shot drive, whatever it may be. Um, and they aim for your partner. Your part As a receiving team, you are already up in the front. Your partners is in the back because they're returning the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You need to cover your partner's side a little bit. You need to kind of hover around the middle because your partner needs to make his or her way up forward. And the hardest thing to do is to hit a ball while you're on the move. So if the opponent hits a third shot drop or something, or a drive, you are already at the front. You can cut the ball off,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about moving forward and hitting while your partner has to. So what I'm trying to say, as a receiving team, um, when your partner hits the return, you need to protect your partner.
Yeah.
Give your partner some time to move up.
Yeah.
So let's say the third shot was a terrible third shot drop. You can come in front of your partner and finish it off because you're already up in the front. You don't have to worry about making your way up
Yeah.
to the front of the kitchen. You're already up there. Protect your partner. Give your partner a few extra milliseconds, whatever, to move up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
definitely
I say for the tip of the week basically is to cover your partner, get ready, be proactive when you're not the one hitting the shot.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel you gave us two tips. But on the second one, yeah, I definitely think if you're up at the kitchen and your partner is the one doing the serve return, don't be afraid to eat into their lane. And
Hmm.
I like that you are describing it as protecting the partner. Some partners get really upset
Yeah,
about that.
you're
But
kind of poaching it from them, right?
yeah, yeah. But
Unfortunately.
I think this is spot on. I wish more people thought like that. One thing that you do really well, because I guess you believe in this philosophy, I definitely eat into your lane while
That's
you're
fine.
behind
Yeah.
me. And one thing you do really well, which I think is something folks listening should do as well, is you won't interrupt a volley. Like you'll get to the up to the kitchen, but if your partner's been covering you, protecting you, you don't interrupt,
No,
and
no.
you wait for a moment to, and then I know to shift over. But some folks, they get upset if they feel like their partner poached, and that's always like, oh, I'm helping, especially when they're back at the baseline and you're at the
Mhm.
front. Like that is a perfect time to poach and like
Exactly.
try to like give your partner some breathing room. But I think some
Hmm.
folks really get thrown off by that. So
No,
hopefully
yeah.
they'll hear this tip.
Yeah, like when if you're in the front and you're in the zone, you're in your motions, I would say you just keep going for it because I'm cold. I just made it up to the kitchen line. I haven't hit a shot since the return. I'm
Yeah,
gonna probably dump it into the net or pop it up. While you are already there, you had a few shots, you keep on going. You are on a
yeah,
roll, right? I
yeah,
wouldn't want to stop that. So yeah, protect your partner.
yeah,
Give them a few more moments, a few more milliseconds to
yeah.
make it up to the kitchen to join you.
Yeah, and then once you get up there, know that's a transition moment. And
Yeah.
so, like, you got to be aware of what's going on.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is your partner is gonna move. They're gonna give you your lane back. Like, have a little
Yes.
bit of patience.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, cool. All right. We did it. We made it to the end of the podcast,
Woo!
folks. We are here. We can't believe it. The technical difficulties have been
Yeah.
too much. But thank you, everyone, for sticking through it, for staying with us. On the channel, definitely check out our Packle podcast. We got a giveaway going on over there. We might still be having the Kiwi podcast giveaway. I'm not sure when this posts. We have a giveaway with the standout video. We might have a giveaway over at the 11624 review, but that one is getting close to happening. And then we do have, go check it out, everyone. No one watched this video. I know I was late, but go check out my review of the Franklin C45. That paddle is super unique. We've got a giveaway. They aren't giving those away all over the place. That one go check out, and it is a cool paddle. And yeah, those are the giveaway reminders. Please like and subscribe this video. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Spotify. Subscribing over there, leaving reviews, comments, ratings. All that helps us and is super appreciated. I know Wilson's always telling me, let's just get some reviews. How do we do it? Well, Wilson, I'm begging them. I'm asking. We'll see. We'll see. But more than anything, we hope you get to pickle soon. And just don't forget, it's about having fun.